maybe I'll unmute you guys too, because nobody heard anything you said for the last couple seconds.
I see how it is.
Yeah. If you're familiar with the channel, you're probably familiar with my technical hiccups that we have every so often. At least we didn't. We did an episode where we got about half an hour in FlatCap, and I realized I never even hit go live.
Yes, yeah, I think we had that. It was like, that was fun. We could do that again.
Over.
That'll be no problem.
We can improve on this.
I was just going to go edit videos from last week when I was not at home, and the last half hour, no video ended up uploading. Just audio only on all 3 videos that I uploaded. The last half hour, they didn't send video.
Oh, man.
So I have to redo all of that work.
Just
That's funny.
Tons of B-roll.
Yes.
Wow. That's a lot of time. Oh, Eliza, you're supposed to be in bed. Sonic's not going to be here for a little bit, okay? Say night. Bye. Night. Okay. She's 5, and apparently Mom's busy helping the other kids, so now she's just like got free run of the house for
yeah.
She's freelancing.
Yeah.
Now, if I got free run, I'm not going to parents. I'm going somewhere else. So at least you're doing something right.
Where's the
kids
ice
are coming
cream?
to you.
Where's the chocolate? Or like
something.
The TV.
Something I'm not supposed to. You know.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, that would be very frustrating to find that you're trying to edit something and then it's just missing a big chunk of whatever. If it was missing video or if it was missing audio or we have had podcasts too in the past where I go to listen to it. Like one of the first 3 episodes, my voice was twice as loud as everybody else's, and so I'm going through with Audacity and I'm trying to like bring mine down, then up, then down, then up, then down, like all the way for like an hour. Yeah. I was like, oh.
Well, the nice thing with I'm using Riverside.fm. They have smart mute now, so it will mute the other people when one person is talking. So then that would help you get your levels better if you used smart mute. But there's always those problems with different things on how you do things, editing, all of that stuff. I've had plenty of issues along the way of doing things. I think the biggest one is when I've done my podcast and the guest was a VTuber, and so the AI doesn't see a person and lips moving, and I have to put it in as one audio source, one speaker instead of 2. It will not figure out. It was just cutting the other person. I think I had that on when NYTxSaber was on before NYTxSaber was Tactical Skillet. I had to put it in differently to edit it.
Yeah. Oh, that would be interesting because it wouldn't know who's talking. Just a disembodied voice. Oh, she's hanging out. We'll try and ignore her. Maybe she'll go away. That's what I was told. That's what Google suggested when I was asking about trolls in chat.
It's a weird thing.
It's a very weird thing. Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but on the broadcast end.
Yeah.
Born Again, there's like a bunch of red bars around my lower third.
Oh yeah, I can see
that. There is. Yeah, it looks like I saved it with the guide. I have like a guide to show me like how large your image should be and stuff like that. And if I make that disappear and resave the image, then that should get rid of those bars. Let me do that. You sure you want to replace it? Yes. And then OBS should go, oh yeah, look at that. It's a new image. There we go. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
There we go.
I make sure I get the font size the same and everything. There's even a layer that's hidden that tells me the name of the font and what size font to use and stuff like that. So that I can keep it all
that would
clean.
be helpful if I ever go the route of putting names on guests. You're on. What's really funny, I notice the patterns that people do. Like I have guests on, and half the time I say, "Hey, this is so and so." No introduction. No, what do you do? Like nothing. Like it's just like you got to figure it out. You got to know who they are.
Yeah.
You just talk like old friends. That's like, hey, they're our guest, and we're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I have to stop doing is moving the mouse over the Discord thing, because then it brings up the little thing at the bottom with like the pause, and like the mute and the hang up button and everything. So I'm just going to
yeah.
stop touching the mouse. I'll just keep my hands like this for the rest of the stream, and then we'll be all right. Put them in my pockets. All right. Well, why don't we, well, what has everybody been up to for the last, maybe we'll let Tactical go first because you're the first topic on the agenda, FlatCap. So what you've been doing for the last little while can morph into topic number one.
Morph into that conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
What have you been up to, Tactical, for the last couple weeks since we talked last?
I guess since we talked last, I have completely rebranded. As you were saying in the beginning, I am formerly known as NYTxSaber. I have basically taken my entire content creation career and I have narrowed it down to one specific subgenre of gaming and content. And kind of have been leaning heavily into my expertise and my other knowledges just around stuff that I've done and just other experiences I have, such as my culinary experience, the experience I have with firearms. And no, there was no cooking streams, and no, there's no shooting stuff on the stream. As much as that would be
stream?
As much as that would be fun to do. For some reason, Twitch frowns upon that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And plus, cooking streams just don't do well, unless you have a built audience that asked for it.
Yeah, that's got to be your bread and butter, probably.
Yeah, like it's got to be like one of the things where it's like it's the only thing. Yeah, nice. I didn't even catch that.
I got that. That was nice. Well, or you can. I mean, I've done a few cooking streams, but my point in doing them was, hey, there's a bunch of people that might not be around for Thanksgiving, that have family, anyone to do. They're sitting at home with nothing to do. And a bunch of people that are not from Canada or United States have no idea of understanding of what Thanksgiving is. I'm going to just invite you into my kitchen and we're going to hang out for 4 or 5 hours while I do my, preparation for Thanksgiving. So I've just made it like an annual type event with that. So you could find something like that too, like a birthday cooking stream or a streamiversary type of thing. Just find a couple of one-offs where you can use that and your community already will just come and hang out and know it's a special occasion.
Exactly. Yeah. It's definitely not meant to be more one of those things where it's not a it's not a permanent type of content creation.
Yeah.
From the stuff that I've seen. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to.
Cool.
Over the past few months.
Very cool. Well, I like the name. Cool name. Not that your other name wasn't good, but it's always interesting to rebrand and figure out what you want to.
I think my favorite part so far about having rebranded is that nobody knows what to call me.
Yeah.
I might go with Tack. I get so many different variations of this name.
Yeah. Because you could go Skillet, you could go Tactical, Tack, Skill. Yep. Skill doesn't. I don't know. Skill doesn't roll.
I have a list somewhere. I don't know where I put it.
Yeah.
Of all the like shortenings that people have called my name. My one favorite is from my friend Nate Daniels. He'll call me Tax. He calls me Tax Skill Saber.
Tax Skill.
Tax Skill Saber. Nice.
Maybe I'll call you Taxi.
Taxi. I will not respond to Taxi. I will nip that one in the butt right away.
Taxi. Anyway, very cool. Very cool. Well, let me go and then FlatCap. So for the last little bit, I've been just kind of like chilling with stream. I've been playing Minecraft and Arc Raiders and stuff, but in the background, we've been prepping for a few things. Wanting to run alpha. I'll maybe dig more into that at the end of stream when we talk about like where can you find us kind of thing. But I'm wanting to run another alpha, so just kind of preparing that. We're working on a collab that actually starts this Wednesday, so I've been working in the background on that, trying to get that ready to go. And working with our board. We got a board of directors for BornAgainGamer and trying to like register as a charity and stuff like that. So we've been raising funds for that, and that's been going well. So yeah, just kind of a lot of backgroundy kind of stuff and the stuff that people sees has pretty much stayed the same in terms of streams and stuff.
Awesome. Do you have like a field that you're like going to focus on working with for the charity?
Yeah, so our charity's gonna focus a lot on kind of what our community already is, but in person and online. So when I talk about our community, I talk about it with kind of a slogan of the 3 E's of engage, educate, and encourage. And so what we like to do with our in-person events is like gaming events for parents and stuff like that, and kids. So for families, really. So we do like, I've probably talked about it on stream and on podcast before, but like we'll do an event where there's like a Mario Kart tournament going on, and while that's happening, we also have a speaker talking to the parents about gaming and the
Yes, I do
good
remember that.
things, the dangers, all that kind of stuff. But being able to do that on a bigger scale more often. Right now, between running a full-time job and then running the community and stuff like that, I'm lucky to squeeze an event in once a year on my own. So I feel like getting it more organized, getting registered where we can be looking into grants and things like that to help us out, be able to offer tax receipts and things to people, just give it a little bit more legitimacy and work towards kind of streamlining the processes of everything, and yeah, getting a little more what do you call it when people kind of like keep you on this on a straight path. I don't know, anyway, you know what I mean. Get people behind you that are like, hey, are you, like, let's keep this going, let's keep this moving, because sometimes there's a test I like called the 6 types of working genius, and I'm a wonderer and an inventor, and so I don't do any of the things that usually finish a project or a task. So I'll like,
yeah.
I come up with an idea and I'm like, oh, this is a really cool idea, I should start making it. And then I'll start making it, and then when it's at the point where I can show it to somebody, if somebody doesn't say, wow, that's great, let's take it and keep going with it, I've already like been like, okay, I've lost energy for this. Somebody, you know. So yeah, building
totally
a
get
team
that.
and stuff like that, right, to help with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a key piece is a team, and perhaps one of those things that you could be thinking of, which is finding that, you know, person that has a same or similar vision that can come alongside and be that partner in ministry and what you're doing. They don't have to be an on-camera person. They can be someone else in the community that just really gets and understands what you're doing, why you're doing it, and believes in you, and can come alongside. I think that's a really key, valuable thing for any organization, especially when you're getting started.
Yeah, definitely.
And we've got Supersonic in the house. Good to see you, friend.
Sonic, Tactical Skillet, Holly Ham. Question of the stream.
Yeah,
We'll get to question of the stream
ago.
later. Yeah. So yeah, just being able to, because really I would love to be able to move into this ministry full time, whether it's full time with like a part-time job or who knows what's going to happen
Right.
in the future. But I'd love to be able to free up a lot of my time to be able to be like having conversations with people and getting maybe churches in the area excited about getting on board with us and having us come and do events at their churches, or being able to travel around and stuff like that. And it's just, I feel hampered by my need to work a 24/7.
Yeah, that would be really hampering you if to have a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
Yes.
5 by 8 day job where I'm kind of constantly having to switch brain modes all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
So yeah, it'd be cool to be able to do that full time, and hopefully once we get registered, and then we can get grants and things, and then we can hire me as an employee and work towards that. And I just love to spend so much more time working on this stuff than I get to now. So
Yeah. Well, just one thought as you are working towards I mean, there's two levels of it. One is creating the nonprofit and all of that and getting that the legal status, but another is getting enough materials together to be able to have people see what you are doing and talking about what you're doing. Have you made any plans yet to start to put some writing or videos talking about what you're doing, what you have done, so that you can get people to find you searchable and then say, yeah, we do need you to come in?
Yeah. So it's funny because just a couple weeks ago, I was just sitting at my computer and I was like, I should write like an overview of like who we are, what we've done in the past, what we want to do in the future. And I'm not a writer. So a lot of times I would just like be like, hey, Chat GPT, like, I want to write this, walk me through the steps. I don't like saying to it, hey, write this thing for me, and then just copying and pasting what it does. So I'll usually say, hey, I want to write a letter, walk me through the steps of writing a letter, ask me questions, I'll answer the questions, and then take all of my answers and stick them together. But this time I just sat down and wrote. I just sat down and typed start to finish, didn't use like any AI or anything like that.
Excellent.
And I was like,
it's
this
really
isn't from
easy.
me. This can't be from me if I just sat down and did this, because that's not what I do.
It's really easy to sit down and just do something completely out of the norm when you're super passionate about a project like that.
Yeah.
And just so having that like almost like this is my baby. This is what I want. This is my creation. I want to make sure that it's done right. I don't want to leave it in anybody else's hands except for mine. Like there's a mentality that comes along with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well,
all right.
Let's
I love what you're doing. I can't wait to see where that goes. And it may be one of those things that you have to stay in Canada. It may be one of those things where you can do some digital teaching across the border. You'll have to figure that out as things go forward. Yeah. But part of the reason I was asking the question is one of the things that I really have felt since last fall is a need to push in the direction of writing. And so that I can have materials out there for people to be able to find and see, and then be able to know, hey, here's a person that knows what they're talking about. Maybe we could do what they're doing. Hey, can we have them come in and talk with us? So whether it's a consulting, whether it's a coaching, that's what I'm trying to work towards in an area of doing that. So I have started working with one ministry as their online digital discipleship director, consulting with them, and got that set up for a year. I'll be doing that with second generation Americans who are coming in from other countries. And how do you help those second generation Americans live between two cultures, the culture of their parents and the culture of America, which they don't fit into either one. They are a unique place of themselves. And, if you're in a church and you only have 6, 7 kids in a whole high school, that's pretty hard to really feel like you have community unless you can expand that into other places. So going to be working on that over the next year. Really excited about that. I got an invite, so this will happen this week. So I got an invite when I was at Exponential to interview someone who just published a book that's, not a small-time person, not household name, but not a small-time person. If you're in the church planting world, you've heard of them. Peyton Jones, I'll have him on the podcast on Wednesday night. And it's like, this isn't my normal. This is pushing me out of the box. And then as I've been wrestling with that for the last month and prepping for it, I've continued to have confirmation that this might be a new thing that I need to step into. I've got friends that have published books, I should have them on talking about their books. And then as I was thinking about that, I'm like, what I also do? I have a bunch of Christian comic book creators that I know as well. Maybe I should have them on. So I'm going to use this as a test case and start to figure out, is this another layer of what I can do, talking to people in ministry and doing it? Because frankly, I just love talking to people and highlighting what they're doing in ministry. It just vibes with me, and I hope people enjoy it, and I hope it catches on. So I've got that in the works as well. And then one of the other things I'm doing with writing is, and I keep having these wonderful conversations. This is one of the things that's really cool going to a conference is you're just sitting there having a conversation, and you're talking to someone and they're going, here's a problem we're facing in our church. And then I come back and I go, all right, how do I write up how we can use digital to solve that problem. So
Right.
one of the guys I had talked to said, hey, we have soldiers that are deployed. We're not doing a great job of serving our families when a family member is deployed. We talk to the soldier and they're like, hey, take care of our family. But their family now, mom or dad, whoever it is, has all the responsibilities of the entire household, getting everyone to and from church, and they slowly disappear, and we don't know what to do or what their needs are and those kinds of things. So I don't know what their needs are necessarily. So what I've been doing is, like you're talking about using ChatGPT or I'm using Gemini, but it doesn't matter. I'm using it to do research. So I don't just say, hey, what are churches doing?
Yeah.
I say, what are churches doing? Why are they doing it? Cite sources. Give me the links to those places so I can go verify and validate everything that you're doing. So I found at least 4 or 5 churches across the United States that are addressing this, and then wrote an article addressing what are the problems that they face, what are some of the things they might, you might be able to address.
Yeah.
And then when it got done, it went beyond my thinking, and it said, hey, would you like to create an assessment so a church can take an assessment to see how they're doing? I said, that sounds fantastic. Yeah, let's do that too. So I've been like writing and addressing issues that are going on in the church, trying to do that, which has been a lot of fun. Starting to do some teaching. We've been with the Church Digital. I'm going to be finishing up, my 3rd or 4th equipping digital missionaries cohorts. Just thinking about how do you do evangelism? How do you do discipleship? Whatever platform you're on, how do you think like a missionary and learn the culture and reach the people there? Those have been just spot on and super cool. And then I do what I love doing when I go to conferences. I'll just transition into Nerd Culture Ministry Summit. I was there last week, and I love networking. I love learning what people are doing, having conversations. I mean, at least 2 or 3 of the vendors I talked with for 3 to 5 hours over a 2-day period. It's like, that's me. I'm sitting here chatting up the vendors as much as I am, engaged with everybody else in the community. And I've got one thing I'm going to save and not share if that partnership works out. I will be stoked, and I'll be talking about it all the time, so I'll save that. But it was not an expected thing. But if it turns out, I'm going to be super excited about whatever God does with that partnership. Because I'm just gonna leave it there. I'll just start talking about it. But
don't you be holding out on us? No, I'm kidding.
No. It's I don't want to get ahead of God. So that's really what that is. But I appreciate the egging me on there, because I do like the good little. We're gonna talk about this, and then we come back to it 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, and let people wait, wondering when it's gonna happen. But it was. They did something a little bit different than the previous years, and I've been there in Marble Falls, I've been there in Colorado Springs, and now the second time in Colorado Springs for it. And there are several of us who have been at multiple ones, and it was really fascinating to see the progress that people have made in the ministry, what they're doing, to see those arcs of where God is at, and to see the pivots of where we are. And there was just a sense of like, there's several of us that are just on the cusp of something that God is going to unleash, because we've been faithful for 2+ years following through on that vision that God gave us a couple of years ago. And it feels like, we've been down a path, we've been pursuing this path, we've been steady in it, and then God is just like right there, like we feel this energy, it's going to happen this year. And it was so fun to be able to talk with others and to feel that and have that sense of things. And then the speakers are great. Just hearing some fascinating stories that you're not going to hear in a lot of places about, even if they're Christian business, they're talking about having prayer as part of their strategic plan for how they're going to do gaming. Like, what? You're going to start with prayer. I'll just share one of the stories. I don't remember specifically which one it was. I think I know, but I might be wrong. So, but talking about going to go check out doing, what do you call it, with the green screen with all the balls on you?
Like motion capture.
Motion capture, yes.
Yeah.
They had a sense that they needed to go learn motion capture. So they go find a place that had a building that they could rent to be able to learn everything they needed to and to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And the one guy shows up, his partner didn't make it yet. So he's talking with the real estate person whose life is falling apart. So they're just sitting on the floor having a prayer meeting when his partner comes in. They're just there. They're praying. They're talking about things.
That's cool.
He's like, I got to get myself composed and get everything ready to bring you up so you can come up in a couple of minutes. So in that meantime, he's talking with business partner, and the business partner says, yeah, I crunched the numbers on what the utilities are going to be, what insurance is going to be, what all of our other expenses are going to be able to be in this space. We can only use it if they give it to us free. It's like, yeah, it won't hurt to look anyway. We're already here. So they're walking around through the whole thing, and he's showing them things. He's talking about things. They get, I don't know, about halfway through, and the realtor just turns to him and says, I'm just having the sense that God says I need to give this to you free for a year. Would that be okay? And like, yes, why would it not be okay? And so it's just like there were several like that, like I said, that just impact stories of prayer and answers. That's like, yeah, several of us are on the path. You're telling us a story down the road after being on the path and continuing and moving forward when there was no evidence towards success that these things were going to pan out. And I just like that story right there. It's like, that'll keep me going for another 6 months. A story like that I'll remember. I'll keep telling it. And then I'll start looking at the waves later. You know how that is with Peter. You can focus on the thing that's drawing you forward for so long, and then you take your eyes off of it and see what's around you. So that's some of what went on there. If you've got other specific questions, I can answer those too for NCMS.
I don't know if NYTxSaber or Tactical Taxi has, but no, I actually, just quick comment. It's really funny because I didn't get to see any of it this year yet. I'm sure they'll upload the recordings and stuff of some of the talks, but I don't know if any of you have ever read, or I just re-listened to a second time. I read it once, the book, and then listened to the audiobook recently, like a week ago, The Cross and the Switchblade, which is the story of what's the guy? David Wilkerson, who founded the Teen Challenge and World Challenge organizations for drug rehab and stuff like that and addiction. And from cover to cover, the book is like, God asked me to do this, and I stepped out in faith and did it. He like starts off, I used to watch TV every night. I sold my TV and started praying. I started praying, and God kept calling me towards this magazine that was sitting on my table. So I opened it up. I saw a picture of these boys who were in court for a murder. So I felt like God said, go to New York where these boys are. So he went to New York. They needed to buy a house. It's like, oh, it's going to be $60,000. All of a sudden the money's there like the next day. Start to finish miracles. And just listening to it had me so like excited to think that like, that's the same God I serve. Why should I think that like he doesn't want to help our ministry? Maybe not in exactly the same way, but similar ways or better ways for that fit our situation and things like that. And one of the stories in it was like they were talking about setting a budget when they very, 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 very first like formed the organization, and they were like, okay, what are we going to do? Well, let's set a budget of $20,000. And the guy that they voted to be the treasurer wasn't there at the meeting. And so they voted him without asking him, kind of thing. And they said, by the way, you're the treasurer. Our budget's $20,000. He says, great. Where's the $20,000? They're like, oh, we don't have it yet. but, you know, throughout the rest of the chapter, it shows up bit by bit, and they make their budget, and things just like constantly were working out because they just kept looking to God to handle the situation for them and trusting and having faith in him. And it was just, I feel like it kind of aligns with what you were talking about there.
Yeah, boy, that's been a long time since I've thought about that book. I might need to go back and revisit that book. And I know plenty of missionaries who have similar stories that they tell of just God showing up. And it's interesting when you get to have conversations with some people that are far away from God, and whether they grew up in the church or not does not matter. when they start to, or when they get to the point of not believing in a creator, and they stop believing in a material, or they stop believing in a spiritual world, then miracles can't happen, and everything has to be explainable, and everything has to, like, it's just material only.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, that really, in my estimation, pulls hope out of looking to the future, because I can only look at the budget to tell me. I can only look at the bank account to tell me reality. I can't hope and trust and move forward in a way until everything is already verified. So so that's just kind of interesting as you're bringing that up. It's like, it's contrast to several conversations I've had with people recently from my stream that really are coming from a scientific, only what is provable, or materialistic world. There's nothing that's supernatural in any capacity. And it's like, wow, I would really feel like in a horrible place if that's what I was, looking at the world through those lens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about you, NYTxSaber? Got any questions or thoughts on that?
No, I'm just I'm just super intrigued, and it sounds like a good all around time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I will say, in addition to the keynote speakers, the breakout sessions were some of the best breakout sessions I've ever been to at a con. Cool. They were just fantastic. And one of the things that I think made it better was, like, we had an hour plus in the morning, we had a half-hour lunch break, and we came right back to our breakout session. Mm-hmm. So morning was conceptual talking about it, and afternoon was practical application of it. So I didn't go from one person presenting for an hour, another person presenting for an hour, trying to process and hope I can apply things. It was as much as you could, depending on what you were dealing with. It was pull out your thing, start working on it right now. Or when we were doing YouTube review with a couple of really big individuals in the space, it was pull up people who were sitting in the room. Let's look at your YouTube channel and let's give you critique to be helpful on it. So it didn't matter whose was being there. I could see what they had. I could hear what was going good. I could get advice on that. It was really good. And then there was some Q&A where you could ask your own questions and that kind of thing. It was like, it was more concrete of practical. I know what I'm going to go do. Yeah. And I'm already starting to work on it before I even go home.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Workshopping.
That's cool. That sounds super helpful. That sounds a lot like conferences I went to when I was in youth group growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you'd have like a bunch of like keynote speakers, and then you'd go into these breakout groups and you'd focus on like one specific topic or one specific aspect of one of the speakers.
I go to those.
Yeah.
I help out with my church youth group, and I go to those every year with the youth group, and I'm always there trying to tell myself I'm here to help out with the youth group, not get ideas for my ministry. Because the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, that'd be great for BornAgainGamer. Write something down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, but also, is there any youth here who need me to pray with them or anything? Like,
yeah. Well, what's interesting on some level is, like, I've gone to conferences for a long time. I did Global Leadership Summit probably for about 10 years. I also did, I've gone to Exponential Conference, which is church planting conference, for about 5-6 years now. Nice. So I've got a lot of exposure to a lot of different ways of doing things. And speakers are great. And even before that, like other stuff that was, self-improvement type of workshops and those kinds of things that would be Christian and that. Yeah. There's a whole level of, let's pump you up, let's get you excited, and then you're all excited the whole time that you're there, and you go home, and it's, now I got to go back to life, and I forget about it. And I'll say both Reach Conference and NCMS really do a good job of, we're working on something. This needs to be practical to you. and go implement and put it in place. And
Following
so
up and,
the choice of being able to say, hey, I want to work on how do I have a Discord group and I can put some things together there, or wait, I can go check out YouTube and how to get better on YouTube, or hey, I want to go study AI, how I can do vibe coding, which I've never done. So I was hanging out in there and I'm ready to jump into vibe coding. It was like every single thing that you chose was great, and you were sacrificing something else, but saying, no, here's the one that's more important to me right now, and I'm going to jump on and do this one thing and go from there. So that it felt like slim amount of choices. You're picking between two things.
Yeah.
And then you just go do that. And the next day, the same thing. So it wasn't, I've been at one that's like, oh, we got 15 different choices. And you feel like you're missing everything when you have that many choices. And then because there's so many people, you sometimes don't actually get anything applicable because it's watered down sometimes. That's where I think that afternoon session was just so critical. It was those of us in the room who already are down the road of it. We got something. We didn't just get exposure to it.
Yeah. Well, I know, and seeing people at Reach, like there would be a session going on and two people would run into each other and they'd stand out in the hallway and talk through the whole thing. And they probably missed a couple things too, but it's like maybe that conversation was where God wanted you to be at the time too. You know what I mean?
Okay, I feel personally called out
Called
for that
out.
statement
Oh,
because that happened to me like 3 different times. The guy that was there from TikTok, I heard the first 10 minutes of his speech.
I didn't even
Left
hear
to
his.
use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Ran into oh my gosh, who was it? I think it was Will Pog. I ran into Will Pog out in the hallway.
yeah.
And he was leaving the main building, and
That's
me
funny.
and him sat there and talked for like 30 minutes. And then I was like,
Yeah.
man,
I heard
what's
how
going on?
amazing the TikTok guy's talk was, and I was so disappointed because I had completely
know.
forgotten it was even going on, and I missed it completely.
The only talk that I'm glad I didn't miss was okay, I guess let me rephrase that because I wasn't glad I missed any. I think the one that I was glad to have made the most was Caitlin Glass.
Oh,
that
okay,
that one was really cool.
Yeah, hers was good. Yeah, they were all good. Chick-fil-A
They were all
guy
good.
was
All the ones that I
awesome.
went to.
Yeah. The year before, the guy from Coca-Cola was such a cool talk as well.
Yeah. There are some conferences where going into the main session is nothing I do.
Right.
Because like Reach Conference, there was other stuff going on. So there was a lot of options there. Nerd Culture Ministry Summit, there was not a competing thing happening when the main session was.
Okay.
And there weren't a lot of vendors that were around that you would be talking to. So it was primarily everyone in there. So I made more at Nerd Culture Ministry Summit than I did at Reach. At Reach, I didn't make very much of it this last year. The first year I made almost everything in there. But Exponential, when I go there, I haven't made a main session yet, and I've been going for like 5-6 years. So I will at the regional ones that are smaller. I'll make main sessions and get something from those. But like, I don't feel bad. I've realized this. If I am there and there's a person that I don't know there, this is the only time I'm going to have that conversation. I can go watch the content afterwards.
Yeah.
I also can watch it at double speed. I might not be able to have conversations immediately with other people of applying it, but I also right now, like I was thinking about how do you evaluate and review a conference that you've been to? And they often send you a thing out within a week. Hey, give us a review. We want to know how it went. What we can do better. All that is like, I can tell you all the good stuff right now. I can't tell you what was missing or what I want different until I'm 6 months down the road.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Then I can tell you what I missed. Then I can tell you what, you know what? I started to apply this and that. I didn't have time to ask this question, or this would have been complimentary to that. Yeah. It's like down the road, I will have an answer to what I would be looking for. I don't have an immediate answer because my mind only goes to what I got and how I'm processing it, how I'm implementing it, not what was missing. I can't figure that out till I get a couple of steps down the road, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. I think it's interesting because really the only conference experience that I have is Reach Conference and smaller IT conferences up here that I might go to for
Okay.
work. And I
Yep.
get the impression from those two, and maybe just seeing keynotes of things online sometimes, like, you know, Gamescom or whatever, where Xbox is doing its keynote. The difference between Reach and NCMS feels like the keynotes are so targeted towards the interests of the people that are there that you want to be at it. I almost feel like if I was at another conference and there's a keynote thing going on, I could miss it and not feel like I missed anything,
Yeah.
because sometimes they can feel kind of generic and
Well, yeah, like if you're just picking a topic of leadership,
yeah,
it can apply, it might not apply.
yeah,
When you're talking about, hey, how do you do TikTok? That's pretty specific, you know. But now you can apply it to YouTube, you can apply it other places, you can learn some things from it. But it's like, oh, I know what I'm coming into. Coca-Cola was one. Like, why am I going to listen to the guy talk about from Coca-Cola? But he was fantastic. I would say Born Again Gamer, because Reach Conference is primarily targeted toward content creators and digital content and our communities. And Nerd Culture Ministry Summit is broader, anything nerdy, board games, in-person activities, those types of things, that there's probably a piece that you would really vibe with at Nerd Culture Ministry Summit that is it's addition to what Reach has. That's not there, because it's primarily just all of us who are online in the streaming space, content creator space. Nerd Culture is broader spectrum than just that alone.
Oh yeah. I watched the whole first one. Like, it was on during work hours. So I'm like working, but I've got like my phone with my headphones on, like watching and listening to all the talks. I loved Jacqueline's talk. I still talk about that like 3 years later.
She's fantastic. I wish she would have been there again this year. I would have liked to have talked with her more details and stuff, but
yeah, I would love to go to that when it's in my, you know, when it fits the budget and I have time to do the traveling and stuff like that. You know?
Well, the good news potentially is that next year it's going to be moving to Orlando.
Okay.
So it will not be. They don't have the dates yet, so keep an eye out for that. It's going to be in Orlando around the same time of the year in spring. April is the target, but who knows what it'll actually be. And Orlando, they're going to be working and partnering with Crew. So it's going to be on the Crew campus is the plan for that to be able to have. So
that'd be awesome.
So yeah, I will be planning on doing that. It might be easier to get there and cheaper than Colorado Springs is. And I think the stay might be as well. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I heard that like Crew campus has housing there, which that's another thing about NCMS is we're majority housed right there on the grounds. So it's not, hey, everybody scatters and goes their way, and you hang out with the people at your Airbnb or your
long
hotel.
Drive to the conference.
Or long drive to the conference every day. It makes it so that you get up and you're with the people at the conference. You're with people at the conference until you go to bed.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Honestly, that's kind of how I treated Reach last year. I was at the conference until I went to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we went. Some of the guys in ours stayed up till 2 a.m. one night, didn't they? Just talking.
Oh no, it was 2 to 3 every night. It was 2 to 3 every night. You were one of the early go to bed guys. I was up till 2, 3, because like I'd go, all right, it's midnight, let's go to bed. Someone would start a conversation like, well, I guess I'm staying now, and that's like, oh, it's 2 o'clock. All right, we really need to go to bed. Oh, it's 3. I am going to bed. You know, so
yeah. That's fun though. There's memories there, right? And that's
cool. Yeah, it was so good.
It's cool to be in person with people and being able to have those chats and make those memories together.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I love about just the conferences and how they can create. Yeah, you really miss the feeling of being there, but when you go to a conference like that and you're spending that time with those people and you're getting that close with those people, that relationship carries on outside of that conference, outside those walls.
Yes.
And I've never seen that more prominent than with Reach.
Yeah, I would say both Breach and NCMS. I've never seen it happen more than those conferences. Like the leadership conferences I've gone to, the church planting conferences, you stay within your ecosystem that you go to the conference with and come back with. Or you begin to develop individual friendships with some people at the conference, but not a whole network of people that are all networking together in the same space, doing the same things. That I've not seen. Yeah. And maybe there's places out there, because I haven't seen everything, but it's easy in some ways to just get caught up back into the system. And maybe it's because these are such niche new areas of ministry that there aren't a lot of places. We need that network, and we're relying on it to be able to say, yes, we're not out of our minds, and God has called us, and God is doing amazing things. Here's what somebody else is doing, and it gives us hope, and it gives us courage.
Yeah. I do find it's really cool how there's this almost aftercare, you might call it, of like Reach and NCMS with their NCMU Discord. They've got so many acronyms. Is it the NCMC?
NCMC.
Yeah, is the Discord.
NCMU
is the podcast. Yeah. But yeah, no, like they have the larger kind of town hall talks on the Reach server every week or every day,
I love those.
Where they've got people giving talks on their area of expertise. Then over on the NCMC podcast Discord server, I'm in a small group with a couple of guys talking about gaming and nerd ministry, and we meet once a month, and I just have, it's me and three other guys. But yeah, it's been fantastic. Getting the first command redeemed in the middle of podcast. Blanco, thank you. But it's really cool to have that where that after the conferences, you go and you still have that support, and you have people that you're talking to, and it's not like, okay, see you next year. Good luck with whatever you're thinking about and stewing on for the next year.
Right.
Anyway, I'm sure we could talk about that for another hour, probably.
We could, but we probably should move on to the next thing.
Yeah, Roblox again.
Roblox. Yeah, what
again?
What's new with Roblox now, or is it just ongoing? Trying to recover some credibility by doing age things. And I've talked with some people that are just in the space of, no, we're not going to trust them. We're not going back. We're not going to do anything. It's too late.
Yeah, it's I was already in that camp, and only everything they've done has just kind of like further cemented my view of it. Like in the article that I read today, I think they were quoted or the person writing the article wrote this, but it says perceived dangers for children. I'm like, no, they're not just perceived. There are actual dangers for children on there. It's like they're making new age groups, and it's like, okay, well, age groups of 5 to 8 year olds are allowed to play games that are labeled as being for everyone, and then they're able to play games that are being labeled as mild. I'm like, well, I don't know if I want my 5 to 8 year old playing games that are labeled mild. That sounds like too much for an 8 year or 5 year old. And then it's like ages 9 to 15 can play everyone, mild and moderate. I'm like, yeah, no, I think maybe no. You know what I mean?
Well, a couple of the steps do sound in a good direction, though. So I don't want to, just say
it's all bad, right?
All bad, or putting a Band-Aid on something to just make it look good. But I also don't know the verification process and all of that to know what's really happening. But in certain age groups, you can only talk with people that you actually know. So nobody that you don't know can come in and do that, which is kind of interesting because that's really close to when Facebook came out, or I should say when my kids got on Facebook, it was you can only friend people that you know in real life. Right. That was our approach to it. So yes, you can add friends that you know in school, in church, relatives, you can add them. You don't add anybody else until, a certain age. And then we're like, okay, now you understand the dangers, what's going on, those things. And also it was interesting to say, hey, parents can see everything. okay, but can they really?
Mhm.
I mean, if somebody is coming in and nefarious, they can give you tricks and tips probably to get around a bunch of those things and, hacks or whatever. Because frankly, I knew people that when Facebook, whatever the age was, were letting their 6 and 7-year-old have a Facebook profile. They just lied and said, yes, my child is this age. So even with all of this new stuff, parents might still lie and let their kids into a space that's dangerous.
And that's where, like, to give credit, I guess, to the gentleman that I spoke with that actually works at Roblox. One thing that he says is parents need to do a better job of sitting and being present with their children while they're playing. And yes, that's true. But does that mean that knowing that your platform is 90% made up of children, I don't know what the actual numbers would be, probably not 90, but a large majority of your players are children, and you know that their parents aren't watching, does that make it okay to allow the stuff to go on there that goes on there? You know what I mean? Like, is it a good enough scapegoat to be able to say, well, it should be the parents' responsibility? Does that mean that the child should suffer? You know what I mean? Because a child's going to suffer from that. And could you have stopped it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But did you try? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. So I just tell my kids not that they can't play on it. My older kids understand. They're like, oh yeah, no, we get it. Thank you.
That brings me to a wonderful hill that I will die on no matter how many times you ask me. And I'm implementing this rule with my I'm implementing this rule with my kids, and I don't care how they take it whenever that bridge comes. Until age 3, no screens. I even push it to age 4 or 5. Age 6, no individual tablets or consoles. I refuse. I think that has made our entire generation of kids mouth breathers, and I think they need to focus on being outside, doing things with their family, doing things with their friends, figuring out that dirt tastes okay sometimes. It's like they need to focus on that stuff. No unmonitored internet usage up to age 12. Once they hit 12, that's fine. You're somewhat more reasonable to talk to. I will give you that trust to be on the internet if you're doing internet schoolwork for schoolwork, if you're doing it for research projects, I'm right there with you. Not over your shoulder watching you, but I'm at the very least in the same room as you.
Yeah.
Because children are sneaky.
Yeah. Well, they don't know. Yeah. They don't know what they're getting into.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and sometimes they're naive, or they watch their friends and they don't comprehend differences.
Exactly.
The one thing I would say is allow each child to modify that. Here's the age of, because you might have one 12-year-old, you're like, ain't no way you're getting a screen, and another one is like, oh, no, you're fine. Because you're going to tell me everything that you did. You're going to tell me everything going on because you can't help yourself. So I can give you more freedom because you'll give me more information and dialogue. When I don't get the information and dialogue, I have to be more over the shoulder watching. So I would just say it doesn't have to be hard and fast.
I would say that is more of a starting baseline.
Yep.
Yeah. At the bare minimum, that's what it should be. It should be 3. It should be like 3, 6, 9, and 12.
Yeah. Well, our kids aren't allowed to take technology into their bedroom because our 14-year-old has already showed us that when she has technology alone, she gets into trouble. So even then, at 14, she has her own laptop, but she's not allowed to take it into her room and work on it. She has to work on it in the living room. Again, not somebody sitting over her shoulder, but out in the open. And same with switches and phones. That my son has a phone that it doesn't have like cellular, it just has Wi-Fi, and he just has a couple of games on it, but like he's not allowed to take it and play on it in his room. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's good. It's
good. I can
good
say even to go back before all of the tech that's here now, my kids, there's no TVs in bedrooms. Like, no. The TV is for when we're together and doing it. And then we were fortunate enough to be able to have a space to set it up. So I realize not everyone can do this, but we had a study room. And so it was set up. Here's your laptop space. Here's your brother's space. Here's your sister's space. Here you come in the space. Here's dad's space in the same room.
Yeah.
We're all doing our homework, studying, whatever we're doing. We're in the space together. And there's the TV, and we can game there too. So it was like we're creating a space all together that this is what we do in the space, and this is where we have all of our things together. But I think the involvement is the key.
Yeah.
That's really the key is the parental involvement. And I know that's one of the things, Born Again, you teach when you have the parents, is some of those kinds of concepts and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Blanco just mentioned in chat too, having tools on your devices for blocking pop-ups and ads and things, and parental controls and stuff like that is a good idea. We have that on any of the devices we can have it on. I have the Microsoft app for my kids' laptops, for their Windows laptops. I have the Nintendo app for the Nintendos, and I have the Android family app for all the Android devices, so that we can turn them off and lock them after hours and things like that, so they can't get up in the middle of the night like I used to do when I was 15. We had dial-up. I would get up in the middle of the night. I would go to bed. I would lay there awake until I thought everybody was asleep. Hopefully my parents aren't watching. I would get up after I thought everybody was asleep, go down to the basement, boot up the computer, dial it onto the dial-up internet, because nobody needed the phone at that time of night. And I'd be up from like midnight till 3, 4, 5 in the morning. And like when I started hearing the birds chirping, I'd be like, uh-oh, run back up, get into bed. I was on there just downloading games and chatting with people that I didn't know, which I probably shouldn't have been doing. But it's just like, that's, kids do that. And I know kids do that. So now I'm like, okay, lock down the devices.
I mean, it was definitely one of those things for me too, because like I had to practically beg my parents to have a TV in my room, and when they did finally do it, I didn't even get like a real TV. I got a TV that only could play VHS tapes on it, because it only had the VHS receiver on it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And that was fine. That was peak entertainment for me as a kid, because I was born in '98. So
Lion King
every
on
single
repeat.
one of my friends had the Disney themed TV in their room with the built-in VHS players. Yeah. So when I wanted to watch real TV, I'd do the thing that Born Again was just talking about. I'd sneak downstairs and watch TV on the big tube TV, and that's probably where I got some radiation came from. But those things were sitting there. And you can't hide that you were watching TV, because you hear someone come up, you turn the TV off, you lay down and pretend you fell asleep on the couch.
There's still like a glow on the screen.
There's still a glow on the screen, and it's still emitting 1,000 Kelvin from the back of it, because it ran for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, man, I wish we could go back to that. I wish my TV weighed 1,000 pounds again, and
yeah.
I had to use an expo marker to rewind my tapes.
Oh, well, we had to use the pencil to rewind our cassette tapes. So, hey, I've been there.
Hey, you guys have pencils? We had expo markers.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and the thing is this is going to continue to be a thing. The other thing that I will say is, don't just rely on the safeguards and think your kids are safe, because what you'll have is a kid like me who a safeguard is a challenge.
Right.
Not because I really want to get around it to get on the other side, but to see if I can.
To see, the technical challenge.
And so the challenge of trying to overcome it is more of an incentive to go there than you just telling me it's not good and here's why. If you could tell me it's not good and why, I'm more inclined to stay away. If you put just a gate up and say, don't go there, challenge accepted. So I'm just saying, as we're giving advice, know your kid, okay?
It reminds me of us.
Everything we were saying comes with a grain of salt of knowing your child.
Yes.
Praying that you spend time with your kids and don't just stick a screen in their face when they're bothering you.
Yes. I heard a story one time of someone said they took their kid's video game console and locked it in their gun cabinet. And I was like, well, that's a good way to let your kid find out how to get into the gun cabinet, because when they want that game, they're going to try and figure it out, right?
I totally agree with you there. Probably not the best place
to store it. No, that's funny.
They're going to find out where that key is stored and how to get in. Oh, yeah. Well, why don't we switch to the other side? I think we're going to Demntia next, which is the other end of the spectrum.
Well, I was going to say, if we're getting into talking about what we used to do when we were young whippersnappers. But
Yes.
as we get older and our bodies and minds start to fade, it looks like there is some hope. There's some studies going on in probably universities around the world, but particularly the one that I linked to was here in Canada at Wilfrid Laurier University. And what they're doing is developing activities in VR for people who are suffering from dementia. And something I didn't realize, which probably makes more sense when you actually hear it and you go, oh yeah, that does make sense, is that the more physically active someone is who's dealing with dementia, it actually slows down the process of the mind going. So it's not even just like, hey, play Brain Age, or hey, do a crossword puzzle every day and stuff like that. Not just working out your mind, but physically working out your body. So they're making VR games of like hiking. They're making VR games of fishing and different things like that. And he says, think of it kind of like the Wii was when Wii Sports came out. You're getting your whole body involved. You have to move and you have to stand up and things like that. And they said that they're seeing really cool strides in improvement in slowing down dementia for elderly people with gaming and that.
Hey, what I love in regards to that is when tech comes out, sometimes the church just rails against it, that this is going to be all of these bad things.
Mm-hmm.
And then somewhere along the line, if the church doesn't redeem it and use it for good, there are other people who will redeem it and use it for good.
Yeah.
And if you can find medical or health related things, and they cross over depending upon what aspect you're talking about,
Yeah.
then why would we not want to embrace it and explore more? What I'm curious about is if they, can figure out is if I am in, let's just say immobile, does the VR and all of that where my brain is watching me move, does it do good enough of that maybe I can improve my physical ability if I already have limitations? So, not saying someone who's paralyzed, not thinking anything like that, but thinking somebody that might, I have problems with falling over. I walk with both hands on a walker. So how could I do VR with that and do anything in the space? So if I'm sitting, can I progress good enough to be able to get to the point where, my walker could be next to me, but I can just be freely standing and doing stuff while in the space.
Right.
And, I don't know. I'm curious on some of that
Physiotherapy
improvement,
kind of thing.
Yeah, physiotherapy things. It's fascinating. And one of the things I wonder too that you could do with that video calls could possibly do is if you're seeing your family in the space, if it helps you to remember them. Like if you create avatars, you create a room that you could go into. So every day you could go in and, with AI, you could take the voice and the image of your friends and family and have conversations with them in VR. That would be a fascinating thing to see if that's going to develop.
Right. Yeah, I would imagine that they'll explore that, but I'm curious to see the results because I would imagine there's an exponentially larger benefit to physically being able to be with somebody and touch them, hug them, talk with them face to face and see facial expressions. Although I'm sure those sorts of things are improving by the hour, facial expressions on avatars and things like that, right? So yeah, it's hard to say. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, we've already seen proof of like video games being helpful in other aspects of like hand-eye coordination, reaction time, stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's this cool short that I see flying around YouTube here and there. But I don't know if you guys are aware. F1 drivers have some of, if not the fastest reaction times on the planet.
Yep.
Same with like people who do like drag racing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm talking like professional drag racing. I'm not talking like
yeah.
I'm not talking
Street
class
racing.
got out. We're gonna drag race down the straightaway from the exit of the school parking
Yeah, those
lot.
people have some really slow reactions sometimes. Like they're not really quick on the uptake.
We've seen those videos too. They're usually in crash compilations.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was referring to.
But there's a short that goes around every now and then of he's a professional F1 driver. I don't remember what team he races for. I don't even know if he's like the main guy for the team. But he's a professional driver, and they have a guy from one of the League of Legends teams.
Okay.
From that usually ends up in Worlds all the time, and they tested their reaction time. Their reaction time was 0.02 of a second difference. Or wait, hold on. I'm trying to do the math. Hundredths is the third one or the second one?
Hundreds a second, tens, hundreds, thousands.
Then it was 0.02 of a second.
Okay.
Nice.
And like, I can guarantee you that that guy that's on that League of Legends team didn't just. I mean,
Get
yeah, those
lucky
guys
that
are
day.
crazy. Those guys are crazy smart, but I don't think he just came out of the womb just being able to just like instantly just snap and go like, okay, grab that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they actually, there's a movie about it now, which is really cool, about how they took racers from online like Gran Turismo and put them through essentially like F1 school and put them in real cars and had a competition where they had to work their way towards actually being in it. And did one of the guys win a race at some point?
Yes, he did. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
He's actually, well, I don't know if he is anymore, but he did make it to the circuit.
Yeah.
He did make it to the F1 circuit coming from video games straight there. Well, in NASCAR too, they no longer have practice. They go do simulators.
Yeah.
They essentially are, riding in a video game. And when COVID happened and they had to shut down, they just started doing their simulators and racing in simulator games.
iRacing?
They were doing iRacing.
That was huge.
So there is a lot of crossover in a lot of areas. So it's no surprise to me that they're figuring out and studying ways to help people by using technology to be able to do that. And back to your question around, whether physical is better or not. Well, in some cases, let's just say somebody's dog passed away, and they keep talking about the dog and they have dementia. Would it be okay to recreate that dog in VR so that they could have that companion dog back and talk to the dog and help improve their mental by having that companion back again, recreated? I would think that would be a blessing to them. And I'm not going to go down the route of, well, it's a lie, and they're going to not know it's real and all of that. But it doesn't matter in some cases. The same way that I know plenty of people, and I'm not in the situation, so I don't know if I would ever. But I know people, and you see it in movies, they go to the cemetery and they talk to their loved one that passed away.
Right.
Or there's people that walk around the house talking to their spouse that's passed away. I think there's something that's beneficial to that and good.
Therapeutic.
Right. So if we can do that and transfer it to VR space, and it helps people with dementia or other issues, like, why are we not blessing them would be the thing I would ask.
Yeah, that's true. I think in my head I can kind of separate the idea of an animal and a person, but at the same time, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to say because I'm not in the situation. I don't have a loved one where I'm going, okay, they're constantly asking about their dog, so I would want to give them a virtual. But then it's like, okay, do I tell them that it's not real, but here's a VR thing where you can talk to your dog? And then when you talk about people going to, the cemetery to talk to their lost loved ones, in my head, I go, okay, you have to also kind of separate and say, I'm doing this because it feels beneficial to my mental health on a kind of a medical level or a psychological level, and make sure that when we talk about it, somebody who's in stream here listening to us doesn't think that then it's okay to go and try and communicate with dead spirits. You know what I mean? I know you're not condoning that, but for somebody who's listening to go, oh yeah, talking to dead, yeah, oh yeah, that could be helpful. It's like, no,
Yeah,
we're just talking.
The
We're just
I'm talking about are not
talking to ourselves, kind of
trying to go to the spiritual realm and talk to them. It's not like they necessarily hear them talk back.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about you're used to processing with this person.
Yeah.
So you continue to do that.
Talk
you continue to talk to them.
Yeah.
Right,
as if
it's a comfort thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a comfort thing. So and Supersonic brought that up. Like, isn't this sorcery? No, because we're not actually contacting the demonic world. We're not asking them for help and assistance. So we wouldn't be doing that. You know,
Yeah.
and we're not going the Stephen King route of Pet Cemetery and any of that stuff. We're creating a model that is a model after your dog, and then you just to bring you comfort, and you know that's all I would say it is. You know,
yeah. So
and
long.
and it could go too far.
It falls along the same lines as me as to why people keep pictures around of relatives that have passed. It's like it is to recognize that their image still exists and their memories have a place in your household and in your life.
Yeah.
Well, and we have statues of a lot of people that have passed away too, to honor and recognize them for
Exactly.
for things. So there are a
Remember their
lot of
life,
ways to remember and honor the dead. I think the animation part is the part that, you know, for some people it might not be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for other people it might be fine. You know, the same way the New Testament's wrestling with if I is there anything wrong with eating meat sacrificed to idols? In theory, no, because idols are nothing. The demons have no power. God's the one with real power. However, if you think they actually have power and that meant something, you best not eat it. So it's going to be along those same kind of lines. There's some guidelines. Yeah, it should be okay. But if you're worried about it, then you need to not go there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And it might never get there. I'm just hypothesizing of, you know, what could be.
Would
it be beneficial?
I'm reminded when you mentioned using VR to speak to talk to maybe representations or avatars of people or pets. The guy who was married to, I think it's Suzanne Summers, the both of them before she passed a few years ago decided, even before generative AI and large language models started to hit it big, they were talking with people in this space about recreating her likeness as a computer program that you could talk to, because apparently she had a disease that she almost essentially became an expert on. She wrote books about it and stuff like that. And so they had the idea that they could create an AI avatar of her that would use all of the collective knowledge from all of her books and things like that and essentially bring her back to life. And it's like, some people are like, wow, that's really cool. And other people are like, I don't know about that. It's kind of weird, but it's, it's an interesting.
I think I just saw that they're using Val Kilmer,
in a new
AI
movie.
in a new movie.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard a lot about that. But that might be one of those topics we should talk about in the future and come back to this.
Yeah, because it's similar with like Robin Williams actually put in his contracts or his will or whatever not to be able to use his likeness in this kind of way, almost as if he saw this kind of coming down the road. You know what I mean? Well, they were already using CGI to recreate people and make them younger and stuff like that.
They were doing that when he was still alive.
Yeah. But the people that they were doing it on were also kind of still alive, I think, right? Like, you know, you had like making the Terminator look young again kind of a thing. But I can't think of a time where they ever entirely recreated a person who had passed away.
The only situation I can think of was when Paul Walker died, and in the Fast and Furious
finished the
series.
movie, yeah.
They finished the movie with his brother as a stand-in for his body, but they altered the brother's face to look like Paul's.
Well, there was also, which might be where Robin Williams was at, because he came from somewhat being a comedian as well and stand-up. There was the whole thing with performers, artists who are musicians and comedians, going in the direction of being able to have you come in and they do a holographic show. Okay. There was a time where they were pushing towards that direction of a thing where you could just come in and watch a stand-up comedian that's holographic, or you could watch a concert like, hey, I've never got to see the Beatles. Well, what if all of a sudden I could go to a concert and the Beatles are live in front of me in 3D? Yeah. You know? So there was some of that before VR talk. So that could be also what spurred some of that.
I wonder if it could be too, even just an actor impersonating, because, you know, like, what's his name? Jim Carrey playing the Man on the Moon, playing Andy Kaufman, is kind of a representation, is a physical or visible recreation of that person. So I wonder if that also kind of played into it at all.
I don't know that would cross the line into that, because you know the person is playing the character of the person.
Maybe, yeah.
So that's more of a tribute in a way. I don't think that would be covered under that kind of a thing. Like, maybe no, there can be no stories about my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I think the thing Robin Williams was going with for that was just he doesn't want some Hollywood bigwig exec making money based off of him after
Yeah.
he's passed.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
Because I wouldn't want my job to stick up a dummy of me at and edit something onto my face and say, "Hey, yeah, look, our greatest cashier is still here doing his thing."
Yeah.
Long
Or
after I'm gone.
Disney doing another Aladdin with a genie with his voice or something too could be maybe in that too.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with animation would be an easy route to
Much
go.
easier, yeah.
On the other hand, people could make a different choice and say, as long as my family has the rights to my likeness and they get to approve everything, you don't own my likeness, then I could see it being going a different direction with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
all in all it's good. I think as long as there are safe checks and safeguards and people are being intentional with this stuff, especially with the article that we started talking about, with the activity for seniors with dementia and stuff like that, then yeah, I think it can all be used for good, and it's just a matter of being intentional and keeping an eye on it and making sure that we're, doing things for the right reasons and not letting
Right.
stuff go off the
Well,
rails or not doing stuff for greed to make money off of people.
Yeah. Well, and one of the beneficial things that for AI art, it has been ruled that there is no copyright on AI art. So let's just say I use AI to create the next Mickey Mouse. You can go copy me immediately and steal whatever I create because AI did it. It's not copyrighted. So
Interesting.
there is a limit on, at least at this point, going in that direction of what could I create that would endure, that I would own. AI art and characters like, yeah, AI Mario, if I'm just giving names like, like you could think of a whole franchise around that character. It will not happen in AI. It will be copied. So it's the one-off, it's the first to do it, and then you have to do something, create something else.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem too with people using like ChatGPT for like logos or speeches or stuff like that, is that there's nothing, you don't own that. They own that. They can choose to go, nah, we're not gonna claim it, but you're using our stuff and you're making money off of it, so we want some of that money.
Right. Yeah. That's good. Good. I think it's a good topic to dive into, and yeah, we might maybe dive back in on another podcast about the idea of recreating people's likenesses and how it's used and stuff like that, like you mentioned before, FlatCap. But for now, let's talk about our featured software, our featured game. I saw Sammy, I believe, posted and shared with us from the NYTxSaber that there's a game out from Rogue Robin Studios, and it's called Amy Hates Robots, and it is a intense looking game. Have you guys had a chance to look at it?
I did not.
No.
I was a little bit busy. I didn't
I
have a
hear
chance to play with that.
No, it's okay. We want to highlight it, but I'll put a link to it in the show notes and that. But yeah, no, it's I don't know if you guys saw the High Fructose game that they showed off at Reach. I downloaded that and played that, and it is chaotic. It's fast. It's like enemies from all directions, and this Amy Hates Robots feels to me similar, but it's 2D. It's a side-scrolling platformer with dozens and dozens and dozens of enemies coming from every direction, and you upgrade your guns and you shoot 700 bullets out of your one gun in all multiple directions, and you're blowing everything up, and it looks really fun, and it is on Steam. And yeah, the developer is a Christian. There's Christians at least that worked on it. I don't know if I would be able to say, because I haven't looked deeply into it, that Rogue Robin itself is a Christian studio, but at least the things that get highlighted on the NYTxSaber means that somebody who worked on it is a Christian, and we're supporting them and showing off something that they worked on. So yeah, check out on Steam, Amy Hates Robots, and I'll put the link in the show notes.
I mean, the name alone is just intriguing. Like,
right?
Like
why does Amy hate robots? Yeah.
Why? And what do I get to play Amy who hates robots? And what's she gonna do to the robots? I mean, are the robots like the name? Like without going there, like that name is enough to go. Oh yeah, I want to know more.
What if Amy was? What if you weren't Amy the whole time and she's the final boss? The robots are good. What if the robots were the good guys?
That would be so funny if you're playing a game called Amy Hates Robots and you're playing as a robot.
You didn't realize it. It's a girl who's a robot, and she gets to the end, and then she fights Amy.
She fights the human version of her.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
You could have a whole bunch of sequels with that. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Amy hates robots. Amy is a robot.
Yeah.
Amy despises robots.
Yeah.
Amy loathes robots. Like,
Amy comes around to robots.
Yeah, I was gonna say Amy loves robots for one game, and then the next game she hates them again.
Up to robots. Yes.
Amy contemplates robots.
Yeah, that one's a text adventure. It's just a graphic novel. Yeah.
It's just an add-on that only is like a half an hour of content.
Yeah.
And then nope at the end.
Yeah.
It's an extra $10 for the DLC where all you do is you sit there, you see Amy sitting there in some rocking chair going back and forth with a thought bubble above her head that just has a picture of a generic robot head. And then it ends with her just going, nah, roll credits.
I was thinking it was like where is it? I used to have it back here. Oh, there it is. I've got a sand hourglass back there. It just starts with her turning the hourglass. All right, we're gonna sit here and contemplate whether or not robots are okay.
Yeah.
Go. You tell me every reason why I should like robots, and you just have to furiously type. And then at the end, the last grain of sand goes, and she goes, "No, you didn't convince me." And
no matter what you type, you can't convince them.
No matter what you type, like she can give you a score on 1 to 10, but you'll never get above a 4. You know,
you are perma-locked to 4.
Yeah. If you're listening,
really
Rogue Robin, go ahead and steal any of these ideas. They're
I own no copyrighted ideas.
I create my own thoughts. If you steal any of my thoughts, I will come after you legally.
Well, that brings us to the end. That was our last topic.
All right.
But let's go around the table and just talk about what we've got going on. If there's anything that's coming up that you're working on that you want to tell people to go check out. I'll let you guys fight over it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I say one of the things that the Church Digital is doing is launching care groups. So if you go over to the church.digital/care, those are going to be launching in May. So you're going to have to jump on right away if you're doing those. We've been working towards this for a couple of years. So eventually we want to get into, because we know the internet is an addictive place, we want to get into some, addiction recovery. But this is just a open kind of recovery group, not specific to anything, but it's more focused on your mental health and understanding yourself so that you can thrive as a person. And so there's going to be 2 groups, one for men, one for women. You can go and explore it and learn more information about it, but I'm really excited we're finally at that point of doing that. And I'm also working towards going to Africa to teach at a conference. I work because I wear a lot of hats and I work with a lot of different ministries doing stuff, because that's just how God's wired me, and he's provided opportunities. So working with John 17:23 groups right now, and we're going to go speak at a conference in Africa and be able to teach around unity and help be able to bring cross-denominational groups of church leaders together so that they can be in unity in their communities and make an impact. We've been teaching for the last couple of years in WhatsApp, and we've been invited to come and teach in person. So those are a couple things I've got coming up, and trying to see what God does.
Yeah, we'll get those links from you and put those in the notes as well, so people can find that stuff. I'm
Awesome.
interested to look at it too, because I think that there's people that I run into off and on through my community and through my streams and stuff like that who they're like, I'm struggling with this thing, and I'm like, I'll be praying for you, but I don't have a recovery place where I can tell you to go specifically and things
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah,
that's
I
cool.
should mention too, it's a 6 to 8 month endeavor, so
Mhm.
you do need to commit to the group. There is material costs, so it's like $10 a week. So it's not a huge amount. It could be a little bit too much for some people, but for the right people at the right time, this can be beneficial. We're
Yeah.
starting slow. We want to grow this. So if you're not interested right now, circle back when you are.
Yeah.
If it's something you think would be helpful in your ministry, we can talk to you about how to help you, learn and implement some of the things that we are working to do.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Tack.
Yeah. So over on my channel, we are currently doing a fundraiser for an organization called Sleeping Angels. They're an organization local to the state that I live in, and they help cover the funeral costs for families that have had children die just at birth or pre-birth.
Mm.
And the through my line of work right now, we have provided them with their they're doing a motorcycle run on May 2nd. And they have a huge raffle at the end of it, and one of the things that their like grand prize that they're raffling off is a 22 caliber hand crank Gatling gun.
Oh.
That if you can own a pistol, you can own that. It is fully legal. It's really cool. It's something that draws in a lot of things. I work at a gun shop, for those of you who don't know. But seeing them and just seeing their cause, that hits close to home with a few people that I know. And it sparked the idea to just raise money for them. And right now we are at 300 out of $1,000 raised. I'm trying to get the $1,000 raised by May 2nd. So I can get the money to them just after the run.
Yeah. That's a
but
good cause.
if you want, I'll post that in the chat so you have a link.
Yeah.
To post.
For sure. Yeah, it's because you can only imagine the heartbreak and the loss. I have friends who have lost a child during childbirth and or pre, and like the idea of like you've got this loss, you've got this devastating thing that's happened, and then having to plan and pay for things like that. Like luckily is said with kind of a grain of salt. The friends that I had that went through it were part of church that loved and cared for them and took care of them and helped them through it. But imagine that you don't have that, or even when you do, it's still going to be hard. So yeah, that's a good
right. And I think the cool thing about what they do, and again, I say, like you said, I say cool with a grain of salt. The people who founded the organization went through that, and they made it basically a vow to help as many people as they physically can.
Yeah.
Go through, get through that and overcome that, and not go into a financial pit.
Yeah.
Because when that stuff like that happens, you go from such a high to such a low so fast that thinking about covering funeral costs and all the stuff that comes with it, that doesn't even come into your mind.
Well, in the middle of grief and sorrow, to have to deal with the practical things, like that's horrible to be able to have to do that. And I don't know if it's true with infants, or that age, or preborn deaths, because I know several who've had miscarriages and preborn, that it is devastating on a couple. But I know that like one of the major causes of divorce is if you have a child like elementary school and they die, like the chances of your marriage surviving like go down the tubes really quick.
Well, yeah, because I mean,
it's hard.
No parent is supposed to outlive their child.
Yeah.
Like that's not a thing. As a culture, that's not a thing that we don't comprehend it.
Yeah, we don't do well with that at all.
Because this life was just given, how can their life be taken so fast?
Yeah.
And our human nature just goes, how can something like this happen? It shouldn't be possible. Obviously, God's plan has other things. Like there's other reasons things happen like that. But the amount of grief that can just overwhelm and just swallow somebody.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
a friend that I've seen something similar happen to. They lost their child. I think I think their child was 2, and the wife his wife became mute. Just completely died inside. No emotion. Didn't respond or react to anything. And as with him being a friend, I felt terrible seeing that. It's like, how do you try to help somebody from that?
Yeah.
And so that's why I really like Sleeping Angels, because as much as it's not as much as it is a priority that stuff like that gets taken care of, it's a small thing compared to what actually has happened, but it's something that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And so being able to just lift that burden from somebody, from a family that especially will need the help, that's why I want to back this. That's why I back this organization completely.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
Yeah, very cool.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much appreciated. Yeah, and we will, like I said, we'll include your link there as well in the show notes. And yeah, everybody check those out. I think you said you were posting it in chat, so if you guys see, you might not be able to, but if you send it to one of our moderators, Blanco or Sonic, they should be able to post it.
I posted it in the VC chat.
In the Discord. Okay, in the Discord.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we posted it in the conversation
Awesome.
and Discord chat.
The chat that I never look at. I'll remember though. I'll try and remember. Anyway, yes. So good. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We went maybe a little bit longer. This might be one of our longer episodes, but
there we go. The link worked.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah. Did it? Oh no, you see it, but it's blocked out. We'll get it sorted. Thanks for joining us though, and it's been an awesome episode chatting with you guys about this stuff, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with episode 14. And I forgot to mention what we're working on. So we have Alpha that we're running, which is, if anybody hasn't done Alpha or doesn't know Alpha, it's essentially, I like to call it Christianity 101. So the episodes, absolutely. A lot of the episodes are titled like, who is God? Who is Jesus? What is prayer? What is the Bible? Like, why should I care kind of things. And it's a really, really great series. Every time I watch it, I feel like I'm watching it almost with fresh eyes, and just, I feel reinvigorated on how to share faith and how to explain stuff to people from different points of view that might not understand. But it's very cool. We're doing the youth one this time. The youth one has been completely refreshed within like the last year, I think, or so. And so we've done the regular adult one 3 times. So we're going to try something new and do the youth one. And it seems a lot more almost like gamey. Like there's a lot of animations and a lot of like references to video games and stuff like that throughout it. So we're hoping that's cool. And then on Wednesday nights for the next little while, starting this Wednesday, we're going to be doing what we're calling the bag games. I was inspired when I was watching the Beast games. Mr. Beast put on a reality show and had a bunch of people competing against each other. So we're doing the bag games. Me and one of my other friends in the in our community have spent a couple of months now creating like a giant arena in a space within Minecraft. We've created challenges, parkour challenge, and battle challenges between the players and stuff like that. And it's going to be like a 6 or 7 week thing where people are competing for points. And at the end, we'll have one winner, and we want to award the winner a prize. We're hoping and thinking of something like a Nintendo Switch Lite, but we're still working out the actual logistics of that, but it will be something like that. So yeah, we're hoping that people will come and check that out and cheer people on. And
I just gonna say with the Alpha course, if you've got a promo flyer for that, send it to Taco Ukulele for Worship, because she's always advertising stuff. So there's a person, get it to I'm Watching You People. She's around in a lot of places, so she might share it. And then,
Quiz
some
does.
Discords let you promote and others don't. But
Yeah,
I would just say, and even if people don't come, it might inspire other people to say, hey, I could do that too. I've heard about it. Let me go. Maybe I should do that in my own community. So I'm just saying that as an idea for others too, is sometimes you share what you're doing, not just to invite people outside of your normal, ring of friends and influence. It's also to inspire others that they could also do something similar. Oh yeah, I could do that. I never thought about doing that in my Discord server. So
I've been doing it online now. We've done it. This will be our third time. And each time there's been somebody who happened along, whether they were there with us from this first video or joined us at like the fourth video, somebody always comes in and goes, wow, I didn't know I needed to see this video, but that video really spoke to me and touched my heart. And I'm always like sitting there like trying, like, okay, you're on a camera, you can't start crying because you'll be a mess. So like hold it together. But it's so cool to see. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. It's been a great episode.
Pleasure as always to be with you, man.
Yeah. Have a good
Always
night.
glad to be here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, we will roll the ending song here, and I will talk to you guys all later. Bye-bye.
Later.